motherfuckers. We got any funky motherfuckers in here? This one for all my fucking motherfuckers.
Talk to us about this tune, Nicky, while we're loading in. Talk to us about this tune.
Stand up, go shake that ass like a fucking motherfucker. Stand up, go shake that ass like a fucking motherfucker. Stand up, go shake that ass like a fucking motherfucker. Shake, 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 shake it so feel good. Come on. Motherfucker, gotta go shake your ass. The king of funk is back up now. You gotta go shake your ass. They gonna do it again. They gonna say it again. You gotta go shake your ass.
Good afternoon, good people. Good afternoon. I'm joined with the main man, DJ Nicky. New DJ. It's been a while. What's happening, sir?
Mate, that was funky, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Fabulous, bro. Absolutely fabulous. You can see the comments, okay, on the thing, yeah?
Yeah.
As they come in, I'll try my best without it sort of sabotaging the whole.
Yeah, that's all good, mate. It's all good. Welcome, everyone.
That there. Let's do that there. Let's put that high up here. I think you should be able to make out barely. And yes, it looks good.
Yeah, you can see it now. You see it.
Yeah. Cool. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is the DJ Nicky New. We done an interview about a year ago. I think our first interview. Was it a year? Was it about that?
It's
about a year ago, and you were talking all about music. You know, the fact that you were doing AI music and sort of, you got me into it. And I'm just like you're more of a serious character when it comes to the music. I'm just like a layman, just happy-go-lucky. I'm like the drunk, really. That's shacking out to everything, really, in the nightclubs,
You are, mate. That's exactly
Yeah. But this is the thing about music, though, man. It's one of those things. It's for everyone. There's all different genres for everyone. You can sit back and enjoy it. All the rest of it. That was a track made by Nicky New himself. I'm assuming, Nicky.
Yeah, I wrote that one and made it, and I'm from a dancing background, so it's perfect to dance to. It's got a lovely groove. I've done some dance tutorials to that tune. So what I've started doing recently, Bruddy, is actually my mate's been asking me, like, can you teach me a few moves? So I've been teaching bits and bobs for, like, basically men who can't really dance on the dance floor. But, a lot of blokes can't just go on the dance floor. It's frightening for them.
Yep.
Like, a lot of blokes can't just do that to music, right? That's too much. They clench their arse cheeks. They're stiff. They're frightened, mate, but I get it, mate. So a mate of mine's a little bit like that. He's from a boxing background, which we're going to talk about later. But I do a bit of teaching to this music, and yeah, love my music, man.
Yeah, I can see why that'd be a massive market, because today there's a lot of young men today. They're growing up on social media. They don't really have real interactions. Like, every man of like men of our sort of generation and age, and sort of like, we sort of went to the clubs and we sort of just threw ourselves in. And yes, like even now as I say it, like, so many cringe nights on the dance floor that I've had myself. Like, I even look back now and I think to myself, good God, what was I doing? Like, and I can still see it, like, but it is what it is, man. I think that's the problem with this generation today, man. They're too scared to make a tit of themselves, like, and just sort of like this is how you learn. Like, you learn from these things. But yeah, this generation, they need a lot of help.
It's, in my opinion, but it's a good way to socialise. Obviously dancing is a very social activity when you're doing it, when you're out. It's a good way to socialise, and what I like about it, bud, is for a form of exercise, yeah, it keeps your body moving in all different directions, right? A lot of my mates who go to the gym, they go in one direction when they exercise, for example, a bicep curl or whatever. But when you're dancing, your joints, your body's moving all over the show, mate. It's good. Like, it's a good form of cardio. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you learn that after a night out, don't you? When you can't move and your heels and ankles, everything's all twitchy, everything's aching. It's like, what the hell was I doing? And you think to yourself, like, when you're younger, you can throw your body around and do all that sort of stuff, like, and be fine. But as you get older, mate, that's a cardio, like, left, right, up, down, like, crazy. But Nicky, I think you said that there's a more of a confidence, there's more of a happiness about me, and you mentioned it, and you obviously.
Well, if I can take you back to September 2025, I was almost being sarcastic chatting to you, because you had previously said at the start of the season that Manchester United Football Club were going to finish in the top four, and I sarcastically reacted to your comment, and I was asking you the same thing again in September. But I was doing it sarcastically, like ribbing you sort of thing, right? Enjoying the demise of Manchester United. And here we are today. We've got a happy man who's been to watch Tottenham, who's seen his football team get, what is it now, 10 points out of the last 4 in the Premier League.
Yep.
And let's just remind ourselves that those first 6 points came against 2 brilliant teams as well.
So it's... We've won 4 this would have been 5 in a row. So 4, 12, 13.
No, I thought it was 1-3 in a row and then drawn 1.
No. We've won. We definitely won 4. This would have been 5. This would have been 5 in a row. Definitely.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. And so in that case, yeah, let's say
points.
13 points off 4 games, right? And yeah, you're a different person, mate. A lot more relaxed. I personally think that Manchester United are back. They're showing signs of what they used to be. How are you feeling, mate? What's going on?
I remember our chats, and Nicky likes to roast. Nicky likes to have a little roast when it comes to football, and he was roasting us last season. And I kept saying it. I said, look, it's Manchester United. We're a big club. The owners may be crap or whatever, but as long as they keep giving us that 100 million, 150 million to spend on new players, eventually it's gonna click. It's going to click. And then Ruben Amorim, like, honestly, the con man that he is, like, I call him a con man now because of what he done to certain players like Kobe Mainu. He literally put the guy's career on hold for a whole year. Like, this guy was playing for England. He was a starter. He was promising. He scored in the FA Cup final. Ruben Amorim comes in. I want to play my way. We're going to suffer. We're going to struggle, and we have to keep doing it. And it's like, I said to myself, what is it about the foreign accent that we sort of allow people to get away with?
No, you, right? This is your fault, yeah? If you ever see this Kobe Mainu, the reason why it happened to you is because of people like him, right? He's sat here now on this podcast with his double standards, yeah? But he was the one telling me last season, like a lot of Man United fans, this guy's great, this guy's great. What I tried to tell this guy here, and you'll think back, Brud, is how disrespectful it is to compare Portuguese football to English football. Very, very disrespectful when I said that from the top. And I said, you Man United fans should dig out people like him that make comments like that, because in Britain, in the Premier League, you can have a Wolves lose 1-0 to a Man City, who are bottom of the league. But in Portugal, you've got Benfica, Sporting, and the other team. I always forget the other one. It's you've got 3 teams out there. Porto. Yeah. So you've got Benfica, Sporting, and Porto. in Portugal. Are you telling me you're going to come from a league like that with three teams, which is effectively the Scottish League or the French League, and you're going to come to Manchester United where you're going to have war after war after war, and you think you can play that football? And you lot, you Man United fans, you all backed him. Nicky, I like his accent though. I like his accent. I like the way he flicks his hair. You know, come on, Bob. The reason why I say this to the viewers, I am digging him out a little bit, but I am an old school like him. We're both from old school. And old school, United used to be very hard and harsh on their team. There was no, I like his accent or his shirt's nice. He's got good style. His shoes are decent. You've got to dig him out straight away. And now what upsets me, this isn't you, but you hear people like Roy Keane saying how Carrick doesn't deserve the job. Do you think he deserves the job?
That's an interesting one because because we've had four good games: Tottenham, Man City, Arsenal, and who was the other one that we beat? I can't remember who else we beat. It will come back to me. But we basically had four really big games, top teams. And we've never, even under Amram, we've never had a problem getting up for the big games. It's the games like last night against West Ham. Those are the games that we always seem to struggle with, even if, before Amram got fired and stuff, you saw the games that we played. Everyone looked at these results and they said, look, these fixtures, and they said, look, these are winnable games. And we ended up drawing. Since it comes to the big games, we're able to perform, and there's no change to that. Teams are always able to get up for the big games. For last night against West Ham, for me, we looked like we were out of ideas big time, and for me, it was just crying for a striker. Bruno and Mbumu, as great as they've done against the big teams, sitting back and then sort of countering. Against the lesser teams, and when I say lesser teams, that's no disrespect to all the other teams in the Premier League. Let's just have it straight. Anyone can beat anyone. I just felt last night maybe Carrick showed a little bit of inexperience last night. I would say because I'm a manager. I've been a manager at grassroots level. I wouldn't put myself up on those levels. But I was watching against Tottenham. Yes, we created loads of chances. But I was looking at the game and I was so high up. I was right behind it, and I could just see that we are if we had a number 9, a striker, he could get in on through balls. We're missing the very basics, playing a lovely through ball, just like City do for Haaland. Play a lovely through ball, he runs in behind, bends his runs in behind and gets behind. We're missing that. Last night, I was just getting so angry. I'm so glad I didn't go live because all I could see was Martinez holding the ball at the back for about, I saw a stat today, he had about 150 passes or something like that. Most of the game was him giving the ball to Luke Shaw and coming back, and then literally slow build-up play. It was just too slow. As soon as we got a striker on, started getting balls into the box, it looked so much better. So going back to Roy Keane's comments about Carrick not getting a job, and Roy Keane... sorry, that's really choked me up. And Gary Neville's also, he's been a big advocate saying, Michael Carrick shouldn't get the job. He's done nothing in football. He's been a manager at Middlesbrough. He done okay. How does that qualify him for a job at Man United? The real tests are going to be the Everton next week, or I think we got a week break, but we got Everton coming up. West Ham I suppose it was kind of a pass because we got the draw in the end. But some people will say that, we should have started with Sesko. The games, we're crying out for a striker up top to play. Whoever it is, we need a striker making runs and doing some basic things that we can just add a little bit to our game. So that's what I'll say. But in terms of Carrick, has he earned it? He's got 4 wins in a row against against 3 of the biggest teams, Arsenal, Arsenal, Man City, and Tottenham. I don't know if we class Tottenham as a big team anymore. They managed to got relegated yesterday. But I think if he gets us into the top 4, he would have done more than most managers. And why are we so obsessed with giving foreign managers jobs all the time? Why don't we just give the English guy a chance?
Before we come to that, part of that arrogance from the late 90s and 2000s, so many of those games, you were either losing with 10 minutes to go or you were drawing with 10 minutes to go. And back in those days, the belief was, are Man United going to hit the post? Are they going to get clean through on goal? Are they going to get one over the line? Are they going to get an equaliser in the 88th minute? And now in the 91st minute, are they going to go ahead and win the game? Okay? So you had a lot of draws where you drew the game, and Bayern Munich do that a lot as well. When you look at some of their results, some of the teams that score first against Bayern Munich, it's mad when you see it, bro. Right? But getting back to United, it used to be part of your DNA, where you never knew when you was beaten, and you lost that for a long, long time, right? It looked to me like under Amorim, when you was beaten in the 88th minute, when you was beaten in the 85th minute, it was over. The heads was down. You had no belief you was going to score.
Conceding. Soon as we conceded, it was over.
That's right. It was almost like the players wanted him to lose. The fans wanted him. Almost felt like that. Now under Carrick, listen, if you're losing 1-0 in the 75th, I'm having a fiver on Man United now at 12 to freaking ones. Because you know why? Because that DNA's back. That DNA is back under Carrick, in my opinion. Just wanted to make that point. That's a strong, strong characteristic of a football team, that when you don't know you're beaten in the 75th minute, 80th minute, 85th minute, 88th minute, you don't know you're beaten. I've got to give credit to Man United last night in West Ham. Was it last night, was it?
Yeah.
Whenever it was, yeah. You were never beaten in that game. Even it was 1-0 for so long and they held that lead for so long, in my opinion, under Carrick, he was never beaten in that game. Yeah. That's a big difference.
No, we still, even still under Amorim, like, I suppose it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
You was beaten under him.
We were beaten, but there was still, like, after a little while, you just sort of accepted it. We are where we are. If they score first, they're going to sit back. They're either going to counter and get another goal, or we may get an equaliser, but we're definitely not going to win the game like how it feels kind of now. Like, City went behind, come back. I just think Carrick, he's got to be willing to. I don't know. You just got to see it, because I can as an average bog standard manager, I can see against Tottenham that there were there were spaces and there was opportunities for us to play through balls for a striker on, like Mbeumo and Fernandes in 10 roles. Yeah. No, Cunha sort of, they do sort of float. Mbeumo and Cunha sort of like rotate from left to sort of like number 10 sort of thing. Play out left and then go to number 10. But I just think we'll be better. I think now he's learnt his lesson. Sesko will start, and there'll be other players. Some people are saying, we've had this is the first time in a while where we haven't had a big break. We've been playing one game a week, so now we've played after 2 games, and people are saying the players look a bit shaky. For me, no. Bruno Fernandes, stop doing stupid back flicks that really pisses me off when he does these back flicks. Like, so when they come off, they look amazing. But if you go through the game yesterday, how many back heels he tried to do, most of the time he gave the ball away. Like, it wasn't great from him yesterday. And I feel like, the lesser teams will give him the attention that he needs. Like, the bigger teams, they've got their ego. They don't want to be seen to be man-marking people out of the game, or they won't sort of put their game around stopping 2 people from playing.
You see, the arrogance is back here. We're sat here, people, and he's moaning about a 1-1 away draw to West Ham.
I am
right,
moaning.
Which they equalised in the very, very dying seconds of the game, and Sesko looking brilliant at the moment. This is the difference, people, in the Man United of past. And we're in Man United, shoulders up, stressed out. And this is what I've noticed in this man here. Look at him now, he's chilled out. Listen, 1-1 in the last minute. We could have done all right. It weren't too bad. I weren't happy about the back heels. Dad, you're back. You understand now, you're back. It was no moaning about back heels when it was Amorim. You're back. I think Man United are back, and I would expect you now to kick on and finish top 4, in my opinion.
No, 100%. And I did say that to you last season when you said, this guy, I could have held a gun to his head and tried to force a confession out of him, and he would not have had it, mate. He would not have had it.
Under Amorim, I'm realistic. I think some of you United fans have got to dig you out again. I just think you're a little bit too nice to your team sometimes. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be, in my opinion. That's your football team. You invest time and money and your life into that team, and for a brand and a team of that heritage, you should expect a lot. I know you've got to stick by your team and all this, that, and the other, but I think you United fans have got every right when you're not performing to stick your chests out and have a dig.
But I think what I think as well though, last season everyone was playing out of position. Like how many times did I make the analogy with Harry Maguire and John Terry? If you played John Terry in a high line in a back three with not even a proper centre back as his partner, with Wayne Bridge, you play Wayne Bridge, John Terry, and Gallas in a back three, nice and high up on it, and they're gonna have problems. They're gonna have big problems. They're gonna look like terrible players. Harry Maguire now, as soon as the Carrick comes in, I could have done everything he's done. He has done no rocket science. He's put the players in their right positions and played them the right way. We've got wingers, we've got tens, and we've got a partnership up front. Like it's very basic. There's no
Yeah,
rocket science going on.
I don't think he's played them the right way. Well, I agree with that, but I think it's more of a case of he's letting these footballers play football now, whereas Amarim wasn't letting these footballers play football, right? Carrick knows the DNA of Man United. He's been there and he's done it. He knows what that club should stand for, at least. People said the same about Solskjaer when he became manager. Did he have the resources? There was mistakes made because wasn't he the manager when Ronaldo was there?
Yes, he was. Yes, he
You
brought
know,
Ronaldo in, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's good to see you back, Rob. I'm happy for you, mate. It's good to see you back, and I'm glad to hear that you've gone up to enjoy a game for yourself as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have
How was?
honestly.
Can you tell me how was it? Where was the game? Was it home or away?
It was. Do you know what? Two funny stories. I've been to two games so far this season. I went to Villa. We lost.
What home or away?
I went to Villa. Villa were home. I had to sit with the
Yeah.
Villa fans. Quiet. Ended up nearly getting into a fight with the Manchester United fans because I don't know. I'm sitting there minding my business at Villa. I'm pissed off as it is. We're losing, and then a Man United fan. I'm sitting there recording, just having fun because it's my first time at Villa, and it is an amazing stadium. Having fun, and some guy's looking at me, and he's like, what the F you doing freaking recording the game? It's live on telly. And I'm just enjoying it. It wasn't even the game, to be fair. It was just like, I was just recording, I was just in a bit of in awe of like, the whole environment and stuff. And then like, he got a couple of his friends and they were like talking shit and I stood up like, all the stewards come running down the stairs thinking I'm going to go crazy or whatever. But like, I just said to him, like, just shut your, I told him straight. I was sat right on the edge and they were like, there was an inch, like, there was like, not an inch, it was like maybe a meter distance, like, just.
Well, from your own fans.
Yeah,
From your own fans.
from my own fans, a stare distance, like, and I've got the Villa fans here. And this guy, like, I don't know what it is. My temper's got like, since I've got older, as I've got older, man, especially like with football, my temper's a lot more looser. So when people do things like that, and the thing is, like, he was trying to scare me and intimidate me. But as soon as I jumped up, like, I know for a fact I would have got to him, like, if I wanted to, I would have got to him, and I would have, if I wanted to, I could have done whatever I wanted, I didn't care about the other fans, and they didn't want it either, to be fair, to be honest with you. So, but yeah. Sorry,
Into this people, he's throwing his mitts around him.
I forgot. You said, how was it? I did mention to you, we spoke off air a little bit, and I said to you, I've never really had the sort of time and sort of spare money to sort of go to watch games and stuff, like, especially as a youngster, impossible. Like, we barely had food, like, so let alone going to watch games and stuff like that, impossible. So, I became an armchair fan, and I must admit, watching it in real life, it's not as glamorous as it is on the TV. Because, like, you're seeing people do things like, yes, obviously they're doing it at a higher level and they're, like, just a basic, receiving the ball under pressure, like, and controlling it dead and moving it, making it look simple. Like, I know it's not simple for sure, but it doesn't look as glamorous as it does on the TV. And that's something that I've taken from going to see the games. Will I go see some more games? 100%. I'll definitely be getting out to see some more games if I can.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's changed a lot in football stadiums. It used to be wild, but now it's very much. Oh, come on, you, and it's just.
I see. There was a video. Recently of an Arsenal fan singing along to their. I can't remember what song it is they sing, but they were singing along. She was being all passionate, but it was a Chinese lady, and I went to the comments, and the comments like were just like, "Oh, look at this person. She's stolen a seat off a real fan," and all the typical sort of jargon that you would expect from the old school sort of football generation. And I feel like let's just embrace it. Like, I'm all for shouting and all the rest of it. But I enjoy. I'm more passionate at home than I am
Yeah, I
in
am. I think what you're trying to say, right, is that it's no longer a working class
white
vibe.
man sport. No, it's no longer a working class white man's only, like, predominantly. If you watch football of the 80s, our generation, it would be 99% white men, or maybe 90% of white women, a little bit of women, and maybe one or two spots. Like, where's fine like, of people of color. One of the biggest things that I noticed, Nicky, is I went to Manchester United. Even when I went to Villa, I saw London, bro. It was London. Like, it was a mixed, diverse bunch of people. Like, I never felt like there was any sort of racism gonna come before. Like, when I used to go to stadiums, like, you hear drunk people, and I don't know why, you just think you're gonna hear some drunk person shout some shit because that's the sort of 80s sort of vibe that you got. Like, if you walk past the pub or anything like that, drunk men came out, you would get the odd blah blah blah. Like, well, I used to anyway. I don't know from you.
Well, yeah, of course, man. Of course, man. I've been to Chelsea in the 90s, Arsenal in the 90s, right? Wembley in the 90s before the new Wembley and the 2000s. When I usually go and watch Tottenham with a mate of mine, right? Last time we went up there, I think it was Spurs against Sunderland or someone, one of the lower teams a few years ago or about a year ago or whatever. And the fans was walking past each other, right? Now, if you go back to the 90s and you have that situation, it's men who get ushered away from each other by the police and police horses,
Police on horses, yeah, yeah.
right? So a lot of times now when I go to football, I'm like, why are fans waving at each other? Hello, toodaloo. And you're thinking, mate, why are you even walking like 10 yards away from each other? Sorry, everyone who's watching this, we're just a bit old school.
Well, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I'm not saying I've got a problem with it, but I used to enjoy the aggression of a football match as a fan, right? And when I say aggression, I don't mean I'm not harming people, but getting in there and letting the veins come out of your neck a little bit. You're saying about this Chinese lady in the football from the clip, but that's fine. Everyone's entitled to go and do whatever they want to do, in my opinion. I had a similar experience Tottenham, where this lady had come with her husband and I think her two kids. All the buttons done up all nice and lovely side parting and everything. And she was handing them out sandwiches. Yeah, she was handing out sandwiches, right, in the football. Yeah. Right. I've got no problem with that, yeah. But me and my mate were sat there, come on, and I was giving it a bit of that, right? And everyone's looking at us like we're mad. Because of the section we're sat in, it was supposed to be like, when you sit here, it's like a picnic, you know. And you got this lady going, oh, come on, will you Spurs? And me and my mate, we looked at each other, right? And we're not angry with her. There's nothing wrong with her. But we were looking for something, we were just looking, we were looking for a bit of adrenaline. When we're sat at home, it's different. You can sit there at home, you can grit your teeth. You can start getting angry, you can grit your teeth a bit. No one's going to look at you. Now, when you do that football now, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
I hear you.
Change.
Yeah, it's changing with the times. I would say it's taken a little bit of the passion out
It's
of
an
the
upper
game.
class game. It's an upper class.
It's taken a little bit of passion out of the game, a little bit. But I would say ultimately, if you're there to support and watch the team, like, the fans are not quiet. They're still singing, they're still shouting and stuff. But I feel like now social media, TV, like, people have got jobs end of the day. If you're seeing that going crazy on the thing and you're like, you're a working man and you've got a job somewhere, that could be the end of your job. They don't want someone like that represent, like, because the image around football is football hooligans and stuff like that. No one wants that in their workplace. Like, you got to be very careful now what you do. And, like, the old school days of walking down the road and giving someone some crap, like, someone from the outside, a civilized person will just see it as, wait a minute, you're from Fulham, you're from Chelsea. They literally intertwine. Like, there's less than a mile distance from you. So you're basically the same people, but you want to go into a pub and like that used to happen big time in Fulham. For Chelsea fans would come down, they'd go into the pubs, they'd smash it up. People would get all sorts of damage done to them, and you'd think to yourself, wait a minute, you guys live a mile away from each other, like and maybe
Fact.
that's why people are a lot more angrier now, because the aggression, you can't have that kind of aggression anymore, so now people are getting really bitter behind the keyboard warrior kind of style sort of stuff. So it's
If you're looking for that sort of experience in football, I think you're probably best off dropping a few divisions down and going to watch a game, Shrewsbury, or
Yeah.
go. I'm not saying anything again. I'm just saying you go to that sort of league level. If you're looking for that, like a Maidstone United or whatever, if you're from where I'm from, if you want a little bit more, of a of an oomph in your experience as a fan. But I think at home with a few mates is probably the new way to enjoy football if you're looking for, just letting loose a little
It's
bit.
expensive as well, in this day and
It's an
age.
upper class game now,
Yeah,
yeah.
in this day and age, who's got the money? It's expensive. Like, most people are living paycheck to paycheck, and you've got to make the decision between going to a game or maybe getting your kids some presents, or buying a birthday present, or buying some gifts or something. It's a really big decision that you've got to make now. So it's only people with disposable income really that can actually afford to do that. And
Even
it's
Sky
becoming.
as well. Even for Sky, there's a lot of people that can't afford BT Sports and Sky in the UK, which is why so many people have got those dodgy boxes, because it's very unaffordable to watch football, even on the telly for a lot of people. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah. Well, I mean, I pay about £130 a month for my Virgin, and someone the other day said to me, you could pay 130 quid once a year and get every single channel, every single live football
That's
game,
right, yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what, mate, as nice as I am, that's a clear saving of about £1,200, That's £1,200 extra. I can go on holiday for that every year, So yeah, they are making it. They are making it hard. And what is that doing? That's pumping up these footballers'
Yeah,
wages.
and
And
guess what else happens on a Saturday at 3 o'clock on these special boxes? Well, you get to watch the Premier League, because the only
yeah,
country that's not allowed to watch the Premier League is the country where it actually happens, which is Britain. Everybody else is sat there watching their Premier League at 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
that's
Yeah,
mental.
yeah, that's what I mean. But if you're English and you think, what's going on there then? So we have to pay £100 a month for it. 80 to £100 a month if you want all the channels. If you want to go Amazon as well and get the Christmas ones, because they
Yeah,
do it at Christmas, you've got to get Amazon Prime, and it's only a matter of time before Netflix get involved as well. So
yeah,
I think football is now a middle to upper class spectator sport.
yeah. That's sad. That's really sad, because it used to be, a man on the ground, the normal man on the ground that used to pay. I remember the good old. I think my mum used to pay 40 quid a month for Sky when we was younger. 40 quid a month, and even that was expensive. Like, 40 quid, it may as well have been 4,000 quid. If you didn't have any money when you were younger, you didn't have any money. So it's definitely something to look at. But I think people are finding ways, the boxes, and people are still going to watch the football. I mean, there's sites you can go to watch it and stuff. People are going to do what they're going to do to watch it, and
Can't blame them, mate.
I'm not going to knock them. I'm not going to
No,
knock them, because end of the day, it's a lot of money.
no, that's right.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. One thing I want to talk to you about, I know you're a big boxing man. First of all, obviously AJ in that car accident. Good God, man. Good God. Good God. Shout out to, unfortunately, two people lost their lives. God bless them. And, but does that
What I
not
find
just.
what I find very interesting about that is the fact that he was moved from the front right to the seat behind the front right to the seat behind the driver. It's been moved twice. He originally started sat on the right hand side of the driver, right? And then the driver apparently couldn't see past his frame because he's so freaking big. Because Anthony Joshua is very, very built, isn't he?
Mm,
Right? So you imagine Joshua sat next to you like this, and you're on drive, and then you're looking to the right, and you can't see. Mate, can you swap with the smaller guy, please? I can't see past you. I need to be able to see. So Anthony's got in the one behind the front right,
behind the driver.
right? So that's the second move now. First move is in the front. Now he's in the back front right. Now he's in the back right. Yeah. Now the driver's looking in his mirror from the front left, going, mate, I can't see past you. Like, can you just actually sit behind me? Because I need to see over there and I need to see over there. I can't see, you're too big. Then he's moved him to behind himself. And it was when they pulled out to the right, where the lorry was parked, the low end of the lorry, the metal bit, and the stationary lorry, which took out the whole right-hand side of the car. At that point, the driver got out and ran. And they had to go after him, you know? But isn't it interesting, and isn't he lucky, that he was sat in that seat to start with, where the guy unfortunately got suffered terrible injuries. Then he was in the one behind him, which also the guy suffered terrible injuries, and then moved to the one behind the driver. That's going to play with the mind of a lot of people. The fact, some of these people that, that guy, that one survivor of the air crash. Remember him?
Yeah.
He'd done his head in. Like, he sat there in his seat. He wakes up in his seat, and he's got no pain around him. And all of a sudden, he's looking around him, and there's people dotted around the place who have suffered this terrible air crash. And he sat in his seat, sort of woke up. Look, he's got up, undone his seat. He's done his head in, Brud. So I just want to say that it's really sad what happened, man. And it's really sad about the fact that these were two real close people, because I believe if you're in this position, Brud, you're going to have a lot of hangers-on and a lot of people that want your money and they want your time, they want you to do this, Anthony do this, Anthony sign that, Anthony this, that and the other. It looked to me like these people was close with him and had 15 years in the career of looking after one another. I think it was the diet and the fitness and conditioning, but not just that, good mates, playing FIFA, dancing around in your house, playing music, mucking around with your friends and all this, that and the other. God bless him, mate, I like, But can we say something? Have you got any more to say on that? Because after that, we're talking about Jake Paul.
But just I suppose just following on what you're saying, sometimes life has a plan for you, and if you're meant to, sometimes it's that simple. Step out into the road 2 seconds early, and you get hit by a car. You stop to tie your laces, and a car shoots past you. It's one of these things. Like life and the Creator is bigger than every single one of us, and if He wants us, He'll take us just like that, and that's just what it is. I feel like, but moving on.
Well, we'll stay on the subject of Anthony Joshua. I want to say, I don't know whether it's a positive or not, but I want to say the explosion on Jake Paul's jaw was a phenomenal sight for me to see, and the damage which it caused his teeth on both sides. He's getting hit on this area here so hard that both here and here is breaking at the same time. This is the danger of facing a professional boxer, isn't it, bro? And this is the danger when you're facing someone who's 6'8" or 6'7" or whatever he is. And I think the worst thing that Jake Paul could have done was say to him, can you make sure you're below 245? Mate, I would personally prefer a slower, bigger Joshua that hadn't trained. But he's requested a cardiovascular Joshua that's fit as a fiddle, that's got the most definition you've seen in the last 5 years, and he's requested that. And then you've got Jake Paul in the middle of the ring holding onto his leg like he's trying to bloody nosh him one off, mate. It was so sad to see. The thing is, what I'm going to ask you, bro, what do you think that says about professional boxing, that type of fight? The fact that he got paid so much money and he got that level of fight. And what do you think that fight should have happened as well?
I don't think the fight should have happened. No, I think all it's going to do, obviously, the fighters, for AJ's perspective, 100%, bro. Someone giving me 50 to 100 million pounds to beat up a YouTuber, you've got to take that money. You've got to take that money. Most people think there was some sort of deal in there where he couldn't knock him out after a certain amount of rounds or whatever it is. I think you would accept that for the amount of money you're being paid. This guy poses zero threat to you, zero threat. You can do whatever you want. You can take him out whenever you want. That's the most. Do you know the annoying part about that was? I had a bet that AJ would do him in in the 7th round. He done him in the 6th round. It was 100-1. It was 100-1 for him to do him in the first. I think it was the first minute of the 7th round, and he done him in the last minute of the
Oh, that's
6th round.
unlucky,
And
man.
I could have done that. It was 100-1 because it was literally picking. I was just fuming by that. I was just thinking, if you'd have just done him in the first minute of the 7th round, I would have been happy. It wouldn't have been 60 million, but it was 100-1 at 20 quid. I was gonna be. That was about 2.5. That was about 2,020 pounds. I think something like that. It was a lot of money I would have won from it. So I was upset by that. But for the influencers' perspective, and there's a lot of these on the lower levels of social media thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get into boxing. It's good. I'm gonna look like a boxer on TV. I'm gonna get into Misfits, and a lot that the bad side of boxing is, like, like anything, people are dying every weekend. We just don't hear about it. You get one bad knock on the head, and that's you. These social media guys thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and they're probably all juiced up as well. Like, there's no VADA testing. No one's got 30 grand to do VADA testing or anything for that fight. So it's guys most likely juicing
Let
up.
me put it in perspective for people, right? My friends who are boxers, people, yeah. When they go to the gym and they hit the same gym bag as you and I, they have to wrap their hands up because they hit too hard naturally. And if they don't wrap their hands up in the gym on the bag that I mess around in and pretend that I'm Muhammad Ali, yeah, making all these noises, ha ha, you should see me in the gym, ha ha. I can't fight like a professional. I can't, mate. But I know professional fighters, but I know what they can do. I've got professional fighting friends. I won't say their names, but if we were started on by 6 people, they would be disgusted if I even stepped forward once. They would be very annoyed that I'd even took one step towards that, because they would, I want all 6, please. I want all 6, please. Don't you ever, that's what they're like, man. It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you ever see those memes going around of that Bradley Martin? He's like that big bodybuilder kind of guy. Does a podcast. He's about 6'6", and he has all the boxers and sports guys on, MMA guys on, and I think Devin Haney was on his show. And what he likes to do, he likes to ask professional guys, "Do you think you could take me in a street fight or something like that?"
Yeah.
And the MMA, Devin Haney said that he could. But for me, that one was a bit like, I know boxers are nimble, they can move, but, Devin Haney, what is he, 11 stones at most? Bradley Martin, a massive bodybuilder, that's not totally unskilled as well. He can throw a jab, I think, and obviously in a fight, if someone grabs you, you're done, But the MMA guys, I think he had, what's that? Nate Diaz was on there, and Nate Diaz said to him the same thing, he threw the same argument about Devin Haney. He said, look, if you grab Devin Haney, you probably kill him. If you grab me, I'm an MMA guy. I'll kill you, basically, because that's their game. You grab them, they can tangle you up and break your arms and lock you up and do all that kind of stuff. So that was quite interesting.
It is interesting. You've got people who think that they can play a good game of football down the park, and on their best game of football down the park, they could actually compete with a Premier League footballer. You've got people who are driving around in these souped-up cars with these big exhaust pipes, flying around here, who think they can compete with Lewis Hamilton, right? Because when they watch it on the telly, they think that all the cars are just going like a normal. No, they're taking corners at 110, right? They're taking corners at 110. Boxers have been getting hit all their lives, haven't they? And we know what that does to your bone and your structure of your bones. When you're 7 years old and you start getting pinged all over here and all over here when you're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you start getting pinged, right? All around here, all your life. And then when you're going into the sparring, and then now you're having men that are trained to pinging your jaw again. It's getting even harder now. So people don't understand, mate, how hard they hit.
Especially at the elite level, when it comes to the at the elite, we're talking average boxer versus some social media influencer. Okay, fine. Elite level, Anthony Joshua, former heavyweight champion, fighting Jake Paul. Yes, I totally understand it from Anthony's perspective, but Jake Paul could have died that night if he very realistically.
Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley. Explain to the people what happened to Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley. If you want me to remind you, bro, just say and I'll remind the people.
Didn't Wardley take him out later on, didn't he?
Fabio Wardley hit him so hard that he dislodged this part of his skull, and Fraser Clark was on the floor, and it was like no, and he couldn't work out why. Well, this whole part of his head, not just his jaw, but part of his skull, he had a dent in his skull here. That's how hard boxers hit, right? If Jake Paul had been hit in the wrong place, if that
Temple, anywhere on the temple, orbital bone, and around the eye.
it's got a little Disney. It's got a little Disney head, you know. It's got. I'm not being sort of too disrespectful to him because he's fair play. He's very, very brave, but he has got a little Disney head.
Yeah.
When Anthony Joshua was on road learning how to fight, getting his knuckles done up, Jake Paul was with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think it's just. It's like a Disney show, and you can accept you're going to see a Disney show, you're going to see a circus, you're going to see a freak event. You either accept that or you get hung up on it. And
well, no, it was a real professional fight. That's I think it's now been taken away. Something's happened to his professional status, but it was supposed to be a real professional fight. And can I just remind you, Brud, who the A side was in that fight? Who was the A side in that fight?
Well, in terms of commercial.
No. Who was the official A side in that fight?
I would say AJ.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. The official A side in that fight was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It wasn't Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul.
In what context, though, are you saying that?
All of the marketing. Go and look back at all of the marketing.
Yeah, no, obviously, in terms of the money, Jake Paul is the money. If Jake Paul is the money, but in
the
terms
A
of boxing,
side is always first. If it's Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston, right, and he's the champ, you know, he's the boxer, he's the A side. Even if there's a fight with no belts, there's always an A side. Like Eubank and Ben, they argued over it, right? So what I'm trying to say here, Brud, is that Anthony Joshua would have been told by Jake Paul, listen, on the A side, you understand. What place is boxing in when Jake Paul can A, get the third biggest payday of the sport in the whole entire year as a professional, and B, be the A side against Anthony Joshua, right? How many fighters do you think would like that opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua for that much money? And how many do you think will get it?
But that's they don't have the commercial value of it. Like, you know, that's the thing. If they had the commercial value, then obviously they would, like, you know.
Well, that's why boxing. That's why boxing, I think, is a stupid sport on social media. Who they've got the brains of a rocking horse, because you look at someone like Ben Whittaker. Can you imagine if Ben Whittaker knew how to use social media like Jake Paul?
Yeah.
How big would Ben Whittaker be now?
He's trying.
He's not trying. No, he's not trying, because no one does anything for him. Because he doesn't know how to use social. He doesn't know what he's doing. So all these other people use his clips, and they get 3 million, and he gets 2 million, and he gets 5. It's not Ben Whittaker putting these clips out, and he's not going out there and really talking to people, because boxing doesn't really understand.
Did you see that comment that just popped
social media? Utter madness. Give me 10k, I'd fight with AJ with no gloves.
No, but that's generally how. Sometimes, like, you know, I would watch certain boxers fight, and they'd fight like they'd fight like a journeyman or whatever to come in to like just to maybe do one round or something. And I think to myself, you're giving this guy 50 grand to do one round. Like, give me 50 grand. I'll come in. I'll try to take your head off. I might get knocked out, but I'll still try and take your head off. Give the fans some value, like, you know. And you know, this is the thing with Jake Paul. To his credit, he threw one or two very big punches that if he, you know, a punch is a punch. And you heard that he got caught juicing? He's actually banned from the sport now. You know that he got caught juicing as well. So he's on the juice. He's throwing a big haymaker, like, you know, and one of them just whistled past AJ, like, you know, I shudder to think what would have happened if it would have caught him clean, because AJ, you know.
But I don't think Jake Paul has the ferocious knockout power at heavyweight level, professional heavyweight level, that would carry through from some of these Tyrone Woodleys and all this sort of stuff who just stood there and just dropped like the Undertaker. Yeah. It's not the same thing. It's all for a show. And he's in it for the juice, he's in it for the money, and he's mugging off the sport. It's boxing's own fault for allowing people like him to take the mickey out of it, because he's such an idiot on social media.
Yeah, I kind of, you know, we're going to go on to the Dana White thing, but I don't know, the whole reason why I brought up AJ is I kind of feel disassociated now with boxing a little bit. I don't feel the love there anymore. And I don't know whether that's because our top guys have left the scene or whatever, you know, but I don't feel the love. I I don't feel the love anymore for boxing like I used to. Yes, if there's a big fight, I'll watch it, but I've kind of lost the love for boxing at the minute, and I don't know. I think I've spoken to a lot of people, and they feel exactly the same. They're like, "Oh, I don't care about that fight. Oh, Tyson Fury's coming back, gonna fight Wardley."
Don't care.
Most people don't
Yeah,
care. They don't
yeah,
care about that fight anymore, and I
yeah,
don't know what that is. I don't know what
yeah.
it, maybe it's the social media element that's just being pushed in our faces, and I
No,
suppose you
I
know.
think what it is, Brad, right? Again, I want to reiterate, I don't think boxing knows what it's doing on social media. Boxing thinks that 10,000 views with Eddie Hearn on IFL TV or Charlie Parsons is decent social media. Well, Paddy Pimblett's last video from 2 days ago got 1.3 million views because Paddy Pimblett is a lot more famous than a lot of these boxers. He's a lot more famous than Ben Whittaker. Should Paddy Pimblett be a lot more famous than Ben Whittaker? In my opinion, they could have an equal level of fame if someone would actually help Ben Whittaker with his social media. He doesn't do nothing. And there's loads of fighters. How many top level fighters are there? Anthony Joshua is the B side against Jake Paul because he doesn't know how to use social media, right?
I would say a lot of people are gonna. I struggle to hear that. Like, I get it, the financial, the commercial side, the person doing the deals, the person that has the brand deals, the person that can get a Netflix deal. I get that, but I can't even now. Like, I can. In terms of boxing,
He
there's
was the A
one.
side.
In terms
Jake
of
Paul was the
boxing,
A side because he's worth the money.
there's one side, and AJ was firmly the
No,
A side in terms of
he got
boxing.
bummed on that fight, and he was put on the B side against Jake Paul, and he would always have to live with that. That's why it was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua,
Yeah,
and that's Anthony taking the money. But
yeah.
that's boxing's own fault because Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, at the moment, is not as famous as Jake Paul. He's not. He doesn't do enough social media. You never see him on social media. The last social media we've seen of Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, was the terrible events that he went through. But you never see him messing around or going on there. And usually it's some Lucasade advert
Mm,
where he looks like a complete and utter
yeah.
plum, or
I, th-
nothing.
I
He
think
just
he, I
doesn't.
think, I think he, you mentioned IFL TV over there, and I was thinking about old Coogan the other day, and I was thinking Coogan must be spinning in his grave because this man put boxing in the map. He put it in our front
He
rooms
kept
of
it
his
alive. He
interviews.
kept it
He
alive.
did
Yeah,
on him and
he
Eddie
did.
Hearn. Boxing
Well,
went
I'd
through
say it
some
was
dark
more
days.
Coogan than Eddie Hearn personally. I'd say it was Coogan's
Yeah, yeah,
vision
yeah, yeah.
and
Coogan
Coogan's
doing the
yeah,
work and stuff, but
yeah.
Coogan now, what's he got?
Well,
Carl Froch has got his own show.
no,
Everyone's got their own
Coogan's
show now.
yeah, he's got a lot of competition, but Coogan is ahead because he's now doing interviews with people like Charlie Big Stacks and HS TikToky, right, on IFL TV, and they're getting better views than
Yeah,
professional boxers
yeah,
because
they've surpassed them.
Coogan understands that boxing's got a problem on social media. He was the originator of the social media in boxing. It's
Of
not
course.
Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn should have used Coogan better and people like Charlie Parsons and said, no, I'm not happy with 10,000 views of me being all right geezer and all this sort of stuff. But he could have propelled the sport massively on social media if they were thinking about it. But problem is, Eddie Hearn's 46, like around our sort of vote, he doesn't quite get it.
No, but do you know what happened though? A lot of people, the Saudi money came in, the Sheikh's money came in, and he turned some of the best interviews, the best rivalry. Like, it used to be Eddie Hearn versus what's his name?
Frank
Frank Warren.
Warren.
Frank Warren. It used to be Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren. Coogan would go do an interview. He would go do a show with Eddie, and then go to
But then
Frank
what
Warren, and
happened was
they'd slag each
boxing
other off.
fans, because of their egos of what you're explaining there, boxing fans like me lost out on fights, and we had to deal with social media of 10,000 views, which is crap, which is nothing, right? About I don't like Frank Warren, I don't like Eddie Hearn. Okay, well I'm sat in the middle, and I'm a boxing fan, and I want to see a war. So hurry up, because I want to see him, Anthony Joshua, versus him, Tyson Fury.
But
But
but I
no,
think
but
I think
no.
that's contributed to it though. I think
No,
that's
their
contributed
egos
to
are
the
too big.
downfall.
But no. If they didn't have egos, the sport would have been much bigger because we would have got the fights that
I
we want
don't
to see.
think so, because you think about it now. The Sheikh's come in and he said, "I want this fight," and
No, he
we've
hasn't.
had
He
the
hasn't.
fight.
He hasn't done that at all. Right. The Sheikh is now partnered with Dana White under Zuffa Boxing
Mm.
because he's fed up with Eddie Hearn and
Yeah,
Frank Warren and how they carry on.
obviously now. But back
Right.
then, when we got the fights
He,
when we
he,
got the
he,
fights
he
that we,
he came into boxing to learn what these people were doing, bro, and look at them and say, right, I'm going to find out where your mistakes are. I've got a pot of money and I can put on whatever fights I want, and I'm going to find out where your mistakes are and what you're doing wrong with this sport because I love it. And it was like, right, why are you two not speak? Is that the reason why we've not had Tyson Fury versus Joshua? Is it literally because you two won't speak to each other? That's it.
Yeah, no, yeah,
So to take it
they
out,
messed up. They messed
mate,
up. But
they held the sport back, in my opinion.
yeah, they did. But it also kept us hungry and kept us wanting and kept us dreaming
Yeah,
about it.
a small amount of people, but as you pointed out before, there's a lot more people that don't care about it.
Yeah, but I think now people have said, "Oh, we've seen some of the fights we wanted to see, and we're happy now." And they don't care. Now it's like if you've got like 10 elite fighters and they're not
There's some
fighting
sort of
each other.
noise there. Is there some sort of background noise there? What's
It's
going
coming
on?
from you. Yeah, I can hear it for some reason. I don't know why. I can hear it from you.
Okay, seems to have stopped now.
Testing. Give me a
Yeah,
shout.
that's fine. Yeah.
All right, cool. Perfect. Yeah, I think what's happened is when we had conflict before with Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, they wouldn't even put their fighters on each other's cards. We
Yeah,
were.
that's why boxing fans lost out.
Yeah, we did lose out for sure. And then the Sheikh and what amazes me is the anger and animosity. Frank Warren used to turn pink in some of Coogan's thumbnails where he was so angry and he'd be roasting Eddie Hearn about his fight or whatever, or fights on the same day and all the rest of it. And then the Sheikh comes in and says, "Here's 20 million. Here's 20 million. Go fight." And
Yeah,
now they're
that's
best buddies.
embarrassing. That's
Now they're best
embarrassing.
buddies. Now they're
Yeah.
best buddies.
Yeah,
Like
it's
literally
embarrassing.
best buddies. Oh, Frankie boy, yeah, and I feel like that hasn't helped Coogan's because one of the things that we did like watching was the controversy between them all.
The difference is you're talking about a very small amount of people, and also I think I'm probably more into boxing than you, right? We want to see Benavidez, Opataya. We want to see that war. Real boxing fans want that war, right? Because we know when fighters like that are going to meet, there's going to be trouble. But the problem is that boxing as it stands, you've got the WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, IBO, and Ring Magazine. I think there's 6 freaking or 5 or 6 belts at the moment. Maybe you wouldn't consider one of the IB ones, but there's 5 or 6 belts at the moment. So you've got a fighter like Joe Opataya. If you're into boxing like me, you want to see him become undisputed. Well, what happened to Golovkin? He had to wait till he was 38. Why? Because he didn't like him, he didn't like him, he didn't like him, and he didn't like him. So let's wait till he's 38 so he can fight Canelo. It's a problem with boxing, but it really is. That's why Opataya has signed with Zuffa Boxing. Even though that may not be the right move, he wants to go there because he wants to fight the best, because Zerdo will not fight him. Zerdo Ramirez is WBC champion, same way. I think what's his name? Opataya's got the red one and the Ring Magazine belt as well, right? No one will fight him because he's a killer, because he's fought about 24, 5 people or whatever, and he keeps breaking people's jaws. He's the guy who broke that guy's neck with a hook. And no one will fight him. And obviously, if you're into boxing like me, you want to see him fight the best. Now it's got so bad, he's had to sign with Zuffa Boxing. He's got a fight on March or May, but we're waiting for him to. We're waiting for Zerdo and Benavidez, who's gone up to fight Zerdo. And apparently the winner's supposed to be fighting Opataya. This is a problem with boxing, but if you're a fan, and the reason what you're saying, we've seen the fights we want to see. No, the mainstream fans have seen the fights you want to see. But boxing fans, there's fights that can be made. For example, you've got that fight, Jaron Ennis against Virgil Ortiz. We've been calling for that fight for 3-4 years, but same thing. Because of the structure of boxing, Brud, and how crap it is on social media, these fights can't happen. If people like Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz were active on social media like Paddy Pimblett, and their promoters understood how important that was in this day and age, we could have had these massive fights because they would have been worth the money.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the market is what the market is, and you either have to learn from it, or boxing's gonna fade away, and social media boxing. Like what's happening. Social media influencers are taking over the boxing scene.
You've got this boxing. You've got BKFC, Brud.
Yeah.
You've got Power Slap, Brud. You've got so many combat sports, UFC. You've got so many combat sports that really, if boxing had done its job at the right time, instead of being happy with 10,000 views, they could have nullified a lot of that. But it just gets frustrating for people. It's a frustrating sport to be a fan of because you never get what you want if you're really into it.
I'll tell you what as well. Something that will get people into boxing, Like, you know, what I used to love is the prize fighters. You know, the sort of like on the day you'd get 10 heavyweights and they would just fight each other till the last man, and then the winner wins something. That's how you get boxing back on the map. People just want to see people having a sluggy match. This is why when I see a big heavyweight card and there's just one, it's just mainly the heavyweight fight really is the only one I really want to watch, rather than watching all these sort of crap fights that I fall asleep through most of them anyway. Most people do. They fall asleep.
Nobody knows the people.
Get 10 guys, and put them in a prize fighter and let them fight right to the end, to one man standing, basically. Like, you know, those things were. What they called? I can't remember what they're called. Are they prize fighters? They used to be a thing.
That's what Usyk won, wasn't it? The Muhammad Ali trophy with Carol Sullivan.
I'm not even talking about that one. I'm talking about the one on. They used to. Eddie Hearn done a few of them where it was literally like it was concluded on the night, basically. Where, like, you know,
yeah. As good as that setup is, as you're pointing out, nobody knows the people on the fights below the main event. This is a massive problem with boxing. People just don't know who they'll fight. That's why Jake Paul can walk in and go, right, I want to fight one of the very best in the world because you are idiots and I'm not. Piss off, I'm A-side, I want this much money and I want it to be a professional heavyweight fight because I'm not fighting Deontay Davis anymore. That's the state that boxing is in. That is the state. Jake Paul can walk in and go, right, I want to fight Deontay Davis. Okay, he's going to prison now. Forget him. I want Garcia or I want Joshua. Make it happen now. Right? There's boxers who I know will kill Jake Paul. You don't know them, bruv. Well, when I say you don't, I'm talking to everyone. You know them, but people won't know them. People don't know who Jai Bataille is. I'm talking about. It's a shame. It's a shame. He's the guy that fought 3 rounds. He broke his jaw in a fight against a guy called Brudddc, bruv. I'll just quickly tell the story just to tell people how strong Jai Bataille is. He broke his jaw in the 10th round and he couldn't close it. Huh? What happens in a boxing match, bruv, against a professional boxer when you can't close your jaw? What happens if you get hit on that jaw with a hook and you can't close it?
It's going to shatter me.
His corner is screaming at him. Stay away! You can hear him go, stay no! Do you know what he does? He goes, come on then. And he goes forward, doesn't he? He gets one of the best punches in the world. You can see him getting hit on that jaw. At the end of the 11th, I'm sorry to the viewers, but there's blood coming out of his mouth. A lot of blood. They're trying to talk to him in the corner, but he can't move his jaw. He can't move his jaw. They're begging him to pull out. They're saying, you've got to stop, mate. They're begging him to pull out, they are. Right? He carries on. He gets through the 12th round. By the time the 12th round's over, bruv, he looks like a different person, but he picks up the belt on point. These are the fighters, if he had a social media presence and people could see things like that and understand it, he could be maybe not as big as a Jake Paul, bruv, but perhaps as big as a Ryan Garcia, perhaps as big as a Paddy Pimblett. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't see any other answer other than you know, maybe even Jake Paul gets to a point where he says all bigger influencers start signing boxers. Like, you know, that's probably what's going to happen. Influencers are going to sign boxers and they're going to have to use their clout to sort of get them out there, get the clicks out there. Because, you know,
or teach them how to do it.
Yeah, but I think, do you know what it is though? It's not everyone can do social media, and you have to, and to be like, I could be a lot more successful on social media if I was fake, if I pretended and I was fake. I could be a lot more successful. I know that. I work with a lot of girls. I could do a whole load of crazy shit that would make me the villain, make me a bad person. People would say, "Look at this guy. Who does he think he is?" And I could do that very easy. I could do that. But you know, people don't want to do that. People don't want to be fake, like, you know, live, inactive, TikTok. It's TikTok picking on me again. TikTok always doing something stupid to me. I'm surprised they haven't banned me, bro. TikTok is just like, honestly, so many, talking about influencers leaving platforms, so many influencers are leaving TikTok because,
Bro, if you and I was boxing promoters, right, and we had someone like Ben Whittaker, yes, and we were working with him, yes or no, would we be putting out regular social media with him at least once or twice a month of getting a camera person just to go and do some stuff with him quickly, you know, not eat into his time too much, just an hour or two, get some funny stuff, pair that with some of the clips of him where he's mucking around in the ring, views go up. People get to know him. 3 weeks down the line, okay, let's do an interview with him, see how he's doing. Oh, it's quite nice. He's quite nothing.
Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett, you look at the UFC, bruds. They understand that he's a really likeable person. That young people can relate to him. So what do? They celebrate this guy, and now he's massive on social media. He probably gets more money from social media than professional boxers on the undercard of a main show get from actually fighting in a boxing match.
One thing I'd say about Pimblett though, he has emptied his heart in the ring.
Who? Which one?
Paddy Pimblett, you know, the UFC guy. He's emptied his heart in the ring, and he showed that human side to him. So many people.
Yeah, but he's done it.
But that's the thing. For people to connect, if he was just cocky and arrogant, he might have a following. Yeah, sure. But the fact that he's opened his heart and opened his soul on the ring, like, you know, these are viral moments on social media that he's had tens of millions of views on. Like, you know, where he's talking about his friend and, you know, suicide, like, you know, ending his life or whatever. Like, you know, he's really spoke about hard things, men's mental health. Like, you know, when I think of Paddy Pimblett, that's what brought him to my attention, is seeing those viral reels. And I thought, oh, okay, let me have a look at this guy.
Yeah, because you're connected with him. You're connected with him now. You're emotionally connected, and that's what the very basic principles of it is to get people emotionally connected. Conor McGregor, he was literally cocky and arrogant.
He played the villain. He played the villain, didn't he?
Yeah, and it worked very well for him. Yeah. But there would have been people behind his team that understood that, brother, and actively pushed it. Same as Pimblett as well. And I agree with you. Yeah. You know, he's a really nice guy. Like, he's open. You know, he's made mistakes in the past when he was young, but who hasn't? We all have. You know, when he was young, he said a few things, whatever. But he's a really nice guy. But we could be sitting here not knowing who that is. Oh, that blonde guy with a funny haircut's about to fight again. No, instead it's, oh, mate, Paddy Pimblett's fighting at the White House.
Yeah. It is surprising going back to Whitaker, because, you know, that guy was probably one of the most. After one weekend, that super highlight where he's taking the pee out of that guy and he's literally pinging him all over the place. He was literally probably one of the most famous men in the world on social media. Everyone knew Joe Rogan done it. Joe Rogan done something on him.
Name, but everyone knew that guy that does that funny stuff.
No
one knew his name.
Yeah. He didn't help himself. He didn't help himself by that fight he had where he jumped out the ring, though.
Liam Cameron. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
He didn't help himself when he jumped out the ring. I know he done him on the rematch. I know he done him on the rematch, but he really didn't help himself jumping out the ring like that.
Yeah, and in the wheelchair getting wheeled out. Remember? With his boxing gloves on in the wheelchair.
No, you walk, bro. I think, you know, for whatever reason, it didn't happen on the night for him against this guy, and, you know, he was looking for a way out. There's no way anyone could say any different, like, you know. And the fact that it takes one weekend to make a superstar, and then one weekend to destroy a superstar, and everyone remembers him now for going out in the wheelchair and throwing himself out the ring, like, you know, that's what people remember him for.
Mate, what do you think of? I wanted to ask you about something.
Not Gerald Mirror, not Gerald Mirror's hairpiece.
Yeah, well, that was funny, man, wasn't it? That was good.
I love the way he owned it. He just owned it, like, you know, because most, like, you know, both of us could probably relate to, like, losing our hair and stuff. I don't know when you lost your hair, but, you know, it was a big thing for me losing my hair, like, you know, and most people just think,
mine's like, it's got little bits right there.
Yeah.
I've been shaving it since I was young anyway.
Yeah. So
I've literally, since I was about 16, I've had short hair.
You understand, like, you know, you understand the sort of, like, stigma behind losing your hair. It's a very, when you start losing your hair, it's a big thing.
I think for social media people like you that are always on social media, and a certain generation of young men, it's like a really bad thing. But I think there's a certain generation, like, I'm not being funny, you don't really care as much when you're old, like older people don't care.
See what I'm saying? That's
what you go, mate. Paddy, ladies and gentlemen, it's Paddy Pimblett. How are you, Paddy?
Peace, bro. There we go. I'm back.
Mate, I just said, ladies and gentlemen, it's Paddy Pimblett.
Yes. Now you can have a bit of fun with it. But even still, like, my hair is officially like your hair, to be fair. But I've obviously had the SMP done, sort of thing, like, you know, and just sort of like filled it out and stuff. But yeah, it's a very big thing with Gerald Miller, and, you know, he really did own it, because that could have. And you know what? It's funny how he goes and wins the fight. Like, you know, he didn't win it in the best fashion, but he goes and wins the fight after he just pulls it off. And
I thought he got disqualified, no?
The guy, did he get disqualified? I thought
Gerald Miller lost that fight and got disqualified. I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he won the fight. Double check. I'm pretty sure he won the fight. I think he won it on points, didn't he? He went on the Breakfast Club. He went on the Breakfast Club literally a few days later, which is like a massive show in America.
Yeah, let me just double check, man. Oh no, yeah, you did win by a split decision.
Yeah, he won it. He,
Yeah.
he just sort of toughed it out because he wasn't doing particularly great in the fight, and you know,
Yeah. Sorry, it was a big
do you know
rivalry.
what? And do you know what? Like vanity, people don't realize how strong vanity can be and how it can affect you. I remember Wayne Rooney talking about his hair once. You know, he went through a goal drought once, and obviously, as soon as you score a goal, what's the first thing people do? Come over and they try and touch your hair and stuff like that. And like I remember, I could just see it in his eyes. Like, you know, as soon as he scored, he was scared about people people just jumping all over him. And why am I going all Magui? I don't know. Okay, I'm back.
Mate,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but Bobby Charlton didn't give a monkeys about that.
No,
Did he?
the old school kind of gentlemen. They didn't care, did they? Like they didn't have this vanity issue that we have today. Like, you know, one of the big problems that we have in today's day and age, you know, vanity. Like, you know, and men are doing cosmetic surgery. You know, men are having butt lifts, bro. Men are having butt implants done. You know, literally, men are having butt implants done. Like, you know, men are having the like for $5,000 you can have a 10-incher, bro. Like, you know, like men are doing things like that, like, you know, because of vanity and stuff, like, you know, and because social media and competition and stuff and all different things that really do damage men's mental health as well. Like, you know, people are feeling like under a lot of pressure, like, you know, to sort of be living a certain type of way, to have certain things.
Women are like both men and women. I mean, even back in our day, right? I remember using some Nivea cream in a little white bottle. Yeah, like an aftershave balm Nivea cream from years and years ago.
Yeah, that smelled nice. I remember that.
It was nice, right? But it was nice on your skin as well. But I remember back then, people were going, "Oh, what's going on? You're a bloke." Now, when you go in freaking Boots, you've got an aisle of men's cosmetics, right? And you've got the eyebrow flick. You know, there's guys down that fuck their eyebrows, yeah?
Yeah.
And I know obviously people are listening to this and going, "Mate, how old is this guy? What's it just said that for? Isn't it completely normal?"
Mate, people are wondering. People always say about people with color. Oh, you guys look so young and all the rest of it. Like, we understand from a very early age, you know, that every human being's skin is dry. Dry. If you look under a microscope at anyone's skin, white, black, pink, or grey, it's dry. It's crusty. But on black skin, when we get dry, it goes white and it starts coming out. You have to
Ashy. It goes ashy.
Yeah, that's the expression they use. You have to moisturize, or you're gonna look like a ghost, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we understand that. And when you moisturize your skin looks lovely and soft. That's why you see so many old people of color. You look at them and you think, wow, your skin looks amazing. You look at someone the same age, maybe that hasn't used moisturizer. Men are learning today, like, you know, people. Have
Wait, I used to do a lot. Fucking white people not use white men not use like thing on their face. I wonder. I used to think when I was younger.
They don't understand. They understand. A lot of them understand now, but a lot of them, because you can't see it. They can't see you. It's not visually. You can't visually see the dry skin. But you'd think you'd still be able to feel it, because we can feel it for sure.
Yeah, like you feel tight, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And but the thing is, a lot of people used to. A lot of my friends used to say, "Oh, I feel really itchy. My back feels really itchy. My neck and my face feels really itchy." And I'm just like, "Yeah, bro, put some cream on that, bro." And they'd be like, "Lotion? We don't use lotion." And now the lotion phenomenon's out there, like, you know.
Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's up to them, you know. I saw this one guy on the TV, and he was crying in the middle of his two friends. I think I told you this before already, but I'll quickly remind you, bro. His two friends either side of him, they both had a beard, right? They both had a lovely beard like yours. But the one in the middle, when he just sat there, he was a little bit upset, and his head was down, a bit like, "Oh, man, you're right for shit," right? And lady says, "Oh, you know, what's going on?" Oh, he says, "I can't grow a beard," right? And they said, "Okay, we've going to have an operation for you." And he said, "No." And they said, "No, yeah, we're here for a special occasion, mate. We've organised it for you. You have a special operation." He said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, we're going to take the hair from your head and we're going to put it in here. You're going to have a beard." Mate, I can't grow mine there, right? I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't give a monkey's, mate. I'm happy about that. It makes my face look younger, right? As far as I'm concerned, you know. But the fact that he couldn't grow a beard, mate, he was really upset with it, and it like ruined his life. And I just thought, mate, I can't believe you'd be so upset over a beard. You've gone now, bro, by the way.
No, I'm just trying to do something with the comments thing to make it look bigger. I'm just having a tweak of it anyway, just to do the comments sort of like to make it bigger at the
I wanted
bottom.
to ask you about Prince Andrew when you get that sorted, because that's big news at the moment, isn't it? Prince Andrew.
Yeah, the Epstein files, Prince Andrew. You should probably join our day, one of our daily shows. We talk about that sort of stuff all the time. To be honest, you can't escape it. Like what are your thoughts on Prince Andrew, sir?
Well, firstly, bud, I don't like the way the media are reporting it. Yeah, it's getting on my nerves because whenever the media report it, you've got this wry smile of the people who are presenting it, both the people who are talking about it and the person who's commenting on it. There's this wry smile.
Yeah.
Why are they smiling? They're smiling because it's a prince who's been caught, and they're happy that a prince has been caught.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're actually smiling at there, in my opinion, is abuse. Yeah, and I don't think that's nothing to be smiling about. I think it's absolutely disgusting because when the people off the boat commit the same crimes, they really get scolded by the media. There's no wry smile when they're talking about the people off the boat. But when you're talking about Mountbatten, there seems to be this wry smile when the presenters are doing it, and it's really getting on my nerves. Hi, welcome. Today we've got some more news about Andrew Mountbatten. Can you believe? Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling? Go in. I haven't seen any media go in, bro.
Because unfortunately, this is where we are, and we're seeing it with these Epstein files. Like, Donald Trump campaigned. He said, "Yep, as soon as I get into power, we're going to release all the files." And maybe he had the intention of doing that. Maybe he did. He's released half of them now. For me, he's got into power and he's realized that there's elitists out there. There's elite people that are in charge of shit. They're in charge. They can do whatever they want. They put people in power. They end lives. They suicide people. Unfortunately, the men on the like you could be you're a reporter. You're a young reporter. You think to yourself, yeah, I want to make news. I want to report. What happens if you get a message or a phone call that says, "We know where you live. We know where your kids live." If this is the real world that we live in, unfortunately, we're seeing it now. Like, if you were to, if someone was to come out and report someone really, really big, not one of the names that we know, one of the names that's out there, that someone really serious, and really try and pull someone's name in, they would end up being suicided, bro. It's look, Virginia DeFrey, the woman that reported that reported on Prince Andrew, that Andrew said he didn't know. Where is she? She suicided herself.
Well, before that, she was hit by a school bus in her car.
That's
How
mental.
often? How often? Let me ask you. How often do you think someone's going to be sat there in their car and the school bus drives straight into their car? How often does that happen in life?
This is the reality. People are finally waking up and they're seeing it. You think we live in this lovely democracy where you can choose and do whatever you want. The elites are in charge, and if they want to trouble 9-year-old kids, they're probably doing it right now as we speak. There's nothing we can do. If you tried to report on it, if anyone tried to report on it, there's, guess what? A video is going to pop up with them with a man in a shower, or like, this is the brutal side of politics. This is what happens. These super powerful people, they pull these people into parties, they get them drunk, and then they have a camera set up, and maybe a little girl or a little boy comes in there, and God knows what happens, and it's on tape, and guess what? They're in their pocket forever. You could never come out and say anything because you're on camera caught doing something foul. Maybe it's just you with another man, and you're embarrassed by that. That would damage your reputation. This is the brutal side of the world that we live in, and people are finally waking up to it now.
The picture from Virginia Giuffre was 2001. We're 2026.
Yeah.
Right? So 25 years, I'll make it, bro. That if you're from the right bloodline, you have a pass where you can actually do stuff like that, it seems, and get away with it, which is despicable, isn't it, bro? I just think the media's no good on it. I understand why, and I understand your points. I fully understand, and I think you've got a very valid set of points there, brother. They're probably scared to really go in because of what's happened to other people. I completely concur with you.
Yeah, just think, everything people have done, like like people have had lives and they've probably done things they're not proud of, like if like Andrew Tate found out for himself, like when they put the scrutiny on him, they put the spotlight on him about all the things that he's done, like they dug every single message that man has ever sent. Imagine, I wouldn't survive that test. Like I've not always been squeaky clean. I've never done anything crazy. Let's just say that. But I've never been all. I'm more of a white collar. If I can make a few bob here or there, like if there's a deal to be made, something like nothing crazy. I've never done anything mad like that. But still, like I couldn't survive that sort of scrutiny. No one really could. Like every message you sent, they can dig up and look at. Every single freaking thing that you've looked at online, like nothing crazy from me. But I'm just saying, like not everyone could survive that, like definitely not financially, shamefully, like so this is what you're fighting against. You're fighting against people that have you by the balls, literally, like it's going to take, do you know what I was thinking today? It's going to take, like Prince Andrew now, he has been found, like obviously the king has like demoted him, kicked him out of the house, and he's lost his princehood or whatever it is, his titles and stuff. He is the only person that I think could come out and start naming names and start accusing, because ultimately 9-year-old freaking children were troubled. We know that 9-year-old children were troubled. He knows, Prince Andrew knows who was involved in that, who else was there. He could name names, he could do it. It's going to take a high profile person to come out and whistleblow to get it all thrown out. And he has the protection, I would say. He is the only person that has the sort of protection by his titles. But would I put it past them finding this guy hanging somewhere? Probably not.
Who's got the protection?
Prince Andrew.
There's no such person as Prince Andrew.
So, who are we talking about?
His name has now been changed to Andrew Mountbatten.
Prince Andrew. Yeah. I know he's not a prince, but that's what I'm talking about. Andrew, like he's the only person that has the I think he has the protection, or he's not a prince anymore, whatever, but I think he's the only person that can whistleblow at the highest level and not have to worry about being found hanging or dangling somewhere. Like, I don't know. But the man on the ground, the reporters, the people that flew, like there's a whole load of people involved in this.
Removing his titles is removing any protection associated.
I think still though, yeah, that's just, these are official things for our eyes. Like for the
royal family's got a decision to make. They've got a decision to make. Do we keep his title as Prince Andrew, or do we satisfy the growing angst of the public by taking his titles away? Because if we don't, we could risk losing our monarchy.
Yeah, but do you think that will be their view and their point of view and stuff? But just because you take someone's title away, they're still millionaires. They still got power. They still got influence. Like that's not going nowhere, mate. Like that you're talking about the queen, one of the queen's, the late queen's sons. Like it's going nowhere. Like it doesn't mean nothing. Oh, that means I can't live in a palace funded by the people anymore. He's probably living in a palace somewhere else now. He's probably got his own palace that he's got. Like so this is what I mean. Like and he'll probably, I don't know about royal protection.
I think they're sending him to Marsh Farm, which is a notorious property owned by the royal family that needs a lot of renovations.
Terrible! That sounds terrible. He's going to a lovely farm. He's going somewhere that needs a little bit of renovation. Is he? That sounds terrible.
To the normal person on the street, it's quite a beautiful property. But if you're from his level of aristocracy, then it's a very meagre, terrible house that needs renovations. Yeah. I've seen a documentary about this guy that lived in a 6-bedroom house years and years ago. And he got his title. He was like a lord or something. And he got a letter through the post one day saying, "Oh, you're no longer a lord anymore. We've decided to cut you off. We can't afford you anymore. I know you're his cousin, but you're gone now." He had to downsize into a 6-bedroom house, and he got mental health problems because he grew up in a 30-bedroom manor.
That's very common for the overprivileged. The moment they lose that privilege, it's like
the servants at Sandringham have refused to serve him as well when he's temporary accommodation or something. They don't want to serve him. Yeah, they're on strike.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say there, Brad, is that's interesting because he never had to do anything. So he's never had to open up his own front door, for example. But now the people are refusing to open up his front door. So if someone knocks on his door at Marsh Farm or Sandringham, wherever he is, "Hello, Andrew," Even opening up your door.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think well, to be fair, us in England, at least we're visually doing something, and we've like in America where all these animals actually are, they're not calling out anyone. Like like Epstein. Like there's like this is for me. There's a picture of Donald Trump and his daughter, Ivanka,
Yeah,
is sat on Epstein's lap as a little
yeah,
girl. There's a picture.
yeah.
That's a well-known picture. For me, that tells you everything you need to know. Like, imagine a man, like, we know this guy had 9-year-olds and young little girls. Would I want my daughter anywhere near this person sat
Well,
on their
look
lap?
at yeah, and just to reiterate that point, look at Sarah Ferguson with those two girls, that Eugenie and that Beatrice.
Yeah.
She done the same thing. She's taken her daughters there when they were young, and it was something like a few months or weeks after he's been done for his first sexual allegations. She's taken her kids out there.
Yeah. These people are demonic, mate. Unfortunately, people will do anything for fame. Like, all those women, all those people that brought their kids to Michael Jackson's house. Like, like if you, after one allegation, of someone being someone that troubles children, you telling me even after one allegation, you're going to be taking your little kids to see Michael Jackson? Like, I wouldn't. As much as I like Michael, much as I liked him as an artist, there's no smoke without fire, and you know, I ain't leaving my kid with you, let alone sleeping in the same bed as you, bro. Like, I don't care how big your bed is, like, So these people, and they did say that they did target a lot of really poor people that didn't have much, and they were the ones sending their kids over there. But there was a lot of that Corey guy, that child actor guy. He speaks about it all the time, although he does say that Michael never touched him. But yeah, bro, we could go on and on about this one, bro. But DJ Nicky New, it's been too long, bro, since I've had you on. It's been a great chat. Make sure everyone goes and checks him out on his socials, guys. Nicky, anything you want to say before we roll?
Yeah, good to see you again, brother, man. It's nice to have a catch up. If you want to talk some more football, boxing, and a couple of bits and pieces about the world, I'd love to come on and talk some more.
Yeah,
And thank
yeah,
you very much for having me on, mate. I really
yeah.
enjoyed it.
Peace and love to you, my brother.